And we are live. It's always awkward in the first few seconds. Hope everybody is doing well. What I'm going to do here is just get back to my configuration and allow for people to join in. Obviously, it takes a little bit of time for people to get enrolled. So I'm just going to give people a few seconds to join in. As I do that, I just want to kind of say hello. It's been a while since I've done one of these lives, so if I'm a bit awkward, please forgive me. It's just been a while since I've had this format. I don't even remember the last time I posted live on this channel, but I may be getting into it. A couple things that you may not know. I have moved to Spain, so this is my new set. You'll see me kind of capturing more video, doing more from this location. I'm now living in Alicante, Spain. A long story for another day, but I really enjoying it here, and I'm going to have a lot of content coming out talking about Spain, the opportunities that are in Spain. It also brings me a lot closer to my properties in Sicily, so I'll be able to go there more frequently, pursue more properties, capture more information about that. So I really am proud of where I am today and wanted to just share that. So expect more content on Spain and expect more content around the process of getting long-term residency in the EU, taxes, cultural changes, lifestyle changes, housing, cheap real estate, investment grade real estate, and the likes of it. So starting to see that people are coming in. Drew, thank you for confirming that my audio is working. And what I'm going to do is I am going to get this configured to start the second half. Now, the purpose of this particular session is really to address questions that people may have about the trip. I've been talking about the trip that we have going. This is the second trip that we're doing in Sicily. And the intention is really to give an immersive experience to people who have been thinking about buying real estate in Sicily, who want to meet experts, who want someone to guide them along the way to make sure that they're making the right decision and have the support that they need to get it done. So the presentation I'm going over today covers that. And it's also going to cover a lot of the typical questions people have about the trip. And then at the very end of this, I'll have a Q&A session where we can answer your questions before making any sort of final decisions to purchase. So that's what we're covering today. And I want to just make sure that I have the link available for anybody who is interested in looking at some more information or booking now, so that it's there in the StreamYard comments. So I'll just post that in the comments, and anybody who's interested in links, you can always check that out right there. Okay, so really what I'm covering is this overall concept that I have for helping people live La Dolce Vita, right? I also have something really special coming out in a few months where not only are we going to be doing these tours, but we're going to be creating a community online on how to go through this process, having real estate agents directly there, sharing more listings. Obviously, I'm not a real estate agent, so I can't broker properties, and I don't have all these listings. So I'm bringing agents on, people on, everybody who's part of this industry to support the community that we've built, to support those who are looking to purchase property. So there's going to be more on that as well. But I'm really trying to help people have the experiences that I've had, getting a home in Italy, living there full-time, part-time, or even just having that vacation house or that investment property that you could visit from time to time. And what I want to cover is who we are and what we're doing to make that a possibility. So first thing, for those of you who are watching here on YouTube, you obviously know me. Those of you who are joining this stream for the first time, I'm Carl Pierre. I've been investing in real estate since 2006. I have multiple properties in the United States, now also in South America and here in Europe, mainly in Italy. I'm going to be getting another property here in Spain. And what I do and have been doing for all these years is constantly sharing my approach. Back in the days when I was doing meetups, I was sharing my approach with people one-on-one. When I started this YouTube channel, some of my very first videos were covering some of the deals that I was doing as a fix and flip sort of real estate investor. And now I've kind of been sharing more of what that lifestyle looks like, what it has produced for me, and this part of my journey of starting to invest abroad. Also, along the way, I met Irene, who is now living in Sicily. She's originally from Argentina. She's an architect by trade. We actually met through social media. I was following one of her accounts, and she was just highlighting different places to visit in Sicily. And while I was visiting, I would check out all these places that she was highlighting. And I eventually found out that she was an architect. And I had just got a group investment here with you guys, actually, in Castellammare del Golfo. And I said, you know what, it's going to be really helpful for me, considering at the time I was still living in Florida, to have someone who's competent, being a project manager, helping to ensure that the project goes as it should. And I started actually working with Irene to manage this investment that I was doing in the renovation process of that. What she brings to the table is obviously she's in Sicily, she speaks the language, she's connected real estate wise, and she knows how to approach the renovations process, how to maximize value, and really what is a property that you should probably avoid, and what are the properties that have a lot of potential, a lot of character that would allow you to bring out the most of that investment. The reason why we're doing this is because we both have this love for Sicily, and we really enjoy helping other people pursue the same. Irene's background, her grandparents are from actually Sicily itself, and she decided that something was calling her back to her native grounds, and she moved back, and the experience has been life-changing for her, and she wants to help other people do the same. I've obviously been doing this for a while now, and it brings me great joy to bring people together and help them live out their dreams. So that's why we're doing it, and we really want to make sure that you guys are approaching this the right way. Now, investing in Sicily is not just a dream. I'm going to turn off myself here because it's getting in the way. Let me try this. Nope, too small. Okay, better. Living in Sicily isn't just a dream, and it's not something that's exclusive to people who are extremely well off. There's places where properties are very affordable, down to the €1 price. Properties in the 5-figure range, 15,000, 20,000, 50,000, that are very good livable properties. And it's really just a matter of how you're going to approach this, right? Do you want a house just to live in? Do you want a house that's investment grade? Do you want a house that's going to generate short-term rental income? All of those are possibilities, right? But it's actually possible for you. So I want to talk a little bit about why Italy and why now. So Italy, even though it's quite small landmass, quite small population, has had a huge social impact on the world, right? A very recognized place. And because of that, tourism does very well in Italy. So in 2024, Italy hosted over 65 million international tourists, and it's obviously a magnet for culture, food, and lifestyle seekers. Now, in that year, tourists spent $55 billion on short-term rentals, lodging, and helping to actually infuse money into the economy, especially in some of the smaller towns. Real estate has been appreciating over the years in the range of 9 to 10%, and really substantial growth in northern cities like Milan, where you've seen close to 50% increases over just the past 10 years. And even in the time that I've been purchasing, I've seen prices trickling up, kind of like really assets all over the world. But it's surprising that even in those small dying towns, you're seeing the values kind of up. As a result of kind of the changing world, more and more people are working remote. More and more people have the means to have like this nomadic lifestyle, and you're getting more interest from more people throughout the world to potentially relocate, or just starting to have like hubs in other places. So one thing that people are often worried about is that they think that they may be too late because, all the cheaper properties have been gobbled up or something like that. No, the reality is there's quite, a substantial amount of inventory, especially in rural areas, right? Not so much in like huge cities, but there is inventory that would allow you to actually participate. And I think as we're seeing more and more people kind of take on this global lifestyle, um, and the euro to dollar is kind of historically low. It was very, very low just last year, but things are recovering a bit. Um, what you're finding is that there's still potential for appreciation, and there's still potential for growth, especially in emerging tourist markets. So to talk a little bit about the opportunity in Siracusa Noto, where we're hosting our trip, first, Noto, Siracusa is beautiful. I really like it. It's a walkable city. It's growing in popularity. Some cruise ships are stopping there. So it is a tourist destination, especially in North Asia. And when I went there for the first time, I immediately thought, okay, I'm going to need to get a property here, because it had that effect of, I would like to stay here for longer periods of time, plenty of food options, plenty to do. And I know that other tourists will find it interesting. And it's also not one of those overrun areas or really popularized areas like Rome or Venice or one of those other places. So it also attracts a different sort of audience. In the peak season, you're seeing about $150, 150 euros to 160 euros per night. Occupancy rates around 80%. And you could probably get more than 80% booking rates if you're doing things the right way. The majority of guests that are visiting are foreigners. And because of that, they're a little more, how can I say this? They're less frugal. And they're willing to pay up, especially for experiences and for properties that are just not your standard hotel room. Noto, on the other hand, is an area that is the area that Irene chose to live in, is one of her favorite areas in all of Sicily, mainly because of its design. So Baroque period architecture, really nice city center, really nice construction, as you can see in the picture there. And it's a town that is well known amongst the Sicilians as being beautiful, but is gaining popularity publicly. And as more people, again, are trying to travel off the beaten path, it's one of those areas that's getting visited more frequently. It's also not that far from the sea. So if you're in the historical center, I believe it's about 15 minutes to the beach. And I think there is some really good potential there. So it's a little less expensive than Siracusa for real estate. It's a little less popular, but I also think it's early in the movement of, developing a tourist scene. Most of the hotels are kind of boutique style hotels, the restaurants as well. So it has like this community-like feeling, kind of like old school Tulum, I would say, if you want to kind of make a comparison to something that might be more familiar. But I believe that we're kind of early on this, and those of you who are joining are going to be able to check out some of these properties. So given that even though it's a smaller town and not very popular, it also caters to people who are looking for a little bit more. So for less expensive properties, you're still able to get $100, 100 euros a night. And in peak months, you're probably gonna be able to generate about $5,000 per month on kind of your typical asset, or an apartment or a townhouse within this area. They have a few festivals that really draw in a lot of people, and since there aren't many hotels, you're able to kind of crank up the price when there's kind of that peak interest or that seasonal effect. Just for you to understand, these are very attractive towns. These aren't kind of run down or desolate areas. There's activity. There are awesome views, awesome sort of architecture for those of you who are into that. Plenty of options, plenty of features to preserve when you're renovating properties. And like I said, any time that I'm there, I always feel like I'm walking through some sort of museum. Now, I also understand that not everybody is an investor, and people are going to be buying for different reasons, right? These are places that you could actually spend time and not necessarily just have as a money maker. So we wanted to make sure that people who are coming on the trip could find properties that they're okay owning and just having as part of their portfolio or as a summer home or retirement home, and have that potential to generate revenue, right? It's not one or the other, it's both. Now, I want to talk a little bit about some of the mistakes that people make when they start buying properties in Sicily or Italy, especially those who are kind of lured in by low price points. First mistake that I see most people make is they go at it alone, okay? People try to buy property here in Sicily or in Italy, and it's possible to get burned, okay? The system is not that intuitive, and the language gap is real, right? Yes, there are a lot of Italians who may speak English in another language, but the majority of people do not, especially in kind of not once you're not in the big cities, right? Maybe people in hospitality will speak some English, maybe some of the real estate agents, but I find not to a level that's going to make most Americans that are buying, or most English speakers, comfortable to really make a decision. People often underestimate reservations, and that's mainly because culturally, everything is kind of a roundabout, and they don't necessarily have the same precision culture that you may find in the United States, England, Germany, for example, where the bids and estimates are going to be as close to spot on as possible. Plus, these are if you're renovating a property, these are old properties, you're going to find issues, and you could very easily get into project creep where you start exceeding your budget. There are people who are obviously bad actors, contractors, have a con in their name for a reason, right? A lot of them are fly-by-night sort of guys, or a lot of them aren't even that good at estimating their work or estimating time. They tend to overpromise and underdeliver, or they just don't have the skill set to administrate a project. They may have the skills to do the job, they'll take the job, but they'll mismanage the entire renovation because they just aren't administrative people. And that's obviously something that we try to hedge by helping you with the resources that we've accumulated over the years. The legalities and the laws are different. For example, you don't hold money in escrow. All the transactions are direct, even your deposits. When meeting with an attorney there, I was explaining my discomfort with transferring large earnest deposits, and why don't they have an escrow system? And he literally said, yeah, that's not something that I want to get involved in, right? So they don't have this culture of escrowing any capital with an attorney or with a title agency or a title agent to protect the interests of the buyer, which I thought was strange. So, that's just one of the differences in legality. Another thing that's a little bit different is that if there are multiple owners on a property or multiple beneficiaries of a property, they all have to be present for the closing, which can be kind of a logistical nightmare to coordinate, especially if people are out of town or don't live in that particular city, or pass away during the middle of your transaction, like what happened with me in one of my deals. So we really try to help you manage and kind of navigate that legal confusion so that it's more like what you're used to stateside. Now, our tour solves that by really bringing all of the resources that make it difficult together so that you're competent, right? So that we teach you exactly what you need to know. We take you along to view properties with agents that we trust, right? There are also some bad actors out there on the agent side. And we ensure that you get a real feel for the area, okay? Now, we spent 8 days in Sicily so that we're able to go do a deep dive in Siracusa Noto, see available homes. We match the interest of the group with the sort of properties that are available. So prior to coming, like over the next few days, we're collecting everybody's information as to what are you looking for? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? What's your budget? Do you want renovated properties? Do you want fixer-uppers? What style of home do you want? Do you want something that's more modern, something that is a townhouse, something that is historically interesting or captures a certain time period? All those details we capture so that we could curate a list of properties to see, so you're not just kind of running around willy-nilly trying to figure it out all in 1 week's time. We also bring our team of agents, attorneys, and other professionals that can answer your questions as it relates to you, whether it's immigration questions, questions about real estate law, the process itself of buying a property, getting your tax identification number that you need to actually transact there, and everything else involved in the purchasing and restoration of these sort of properties. Now, this trip is for people who have absolutely dreamed about owning a home abroad or just want to explore the possibilities, right? So you're either gonna be shopping for a property, interested in investing alongside us, or saying, hey, you know what? It's summertime, haven't been to Sicily. This looks interesting. I'd like to go and learn a little bit more. I think this trip is perfect for anybody who falls into one of those areas. It's not going to be for you if you have zero interest in real estate, because we're going to be spending substantial time touring different properties and having conversations around real estate. So this is not just a trip where we're kind of having fun and celebrating every single day. The people that we want coming on this trip, we really want people who are looking to buy or invest, okay? Because that's what it's really designed for. We have fantastic outings planned, great locations for dinner and other activities, just like we did in the last trip. But really the core of why everybody's there is to purchase real estate and at least get closer to a decision point. What you'll walk away with is clarity, confidence, and options. And you'll know whether to buy, how to approach the process, and get introduced to the people that are actually going to be able to help you transact and manage whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. So for most people, you really have two paths in how you could go about this, right? You could either go about it with us, where you're kind of taking on a new adventure, you're guided by professionals, you're establishing new memories, new experiences, or you could go at it independently and, kind of go through things the hard way. For some people like me, I kind of like going down that path, but really for most people, I know it's not the way that most people like to approach a major purchase, like investing in real estate, especially when they're doing it abroad. Okay. So the dates are July 18th to the 25th. So that's starting next Friday, not this Friday coming up, but the next Friday. So you have, we only have 3 more rooms available. So you could come as a single, you could come as a couple, or as brother and sister, or what have you. You're covered for 7 nights, meals for breakfast, meals during our activities. It's usually about 2 meals a day, and there's time to kind of explore things on your own, and there's also obviously activities for the group. I would say if you are interested in coming, Obviously, flight prices are going to start creeping up aggressively over the next few weeks because we're kind of at that midpoint of summer where most people are starting to really travel. So if you know that this is something that you want to do and that you want to experience, I highly recommend book your seat, book your flight, get there. Where you're going to want to fly into is Catania Airport. Palermo is about 3 hours away. Catania is the nearest airport. I advise that you fly into Catania, okay? It's going to be easier to get there. So what's included in the trip is 7 nights of hotel stay, guided property tours with different real estate agents. You get to meet me, Irene, and other industry experts such as attorneys, real estate agents, to help you navigate taxes and the laws that you're going to be subject to if you decide to live there or own real estate there. Translation support, obviously, for those situations where you need somebody in between to help you make sense of what's being said. Transportation throughout the trip. So as we're going from location to location between Siracusa and Noto, we cover the transportation, we cover the group activities, meals during the activities, and a curated cultural experience. If you check out Irene's page, she's always involved in something quite interesting. So she has really a good finger on the pulse of what's happening in Sicily, what's interesting, what makes it really vibrant. And she's put together quite an interesting set of activities for us. What's not included is your airfare. Okay, so you're responsible for getting to Sicily, but once you get to Siracusa, everything else we take care of. Okay, we don't obviously cover any supplementary meals that are outside of our activities, but whenever you're with us, whenever we're together, that is covered. This is actually not correct as of today. There's only 3 spots left. And again, our objective always is to keep the groups small. Last year's group is still in contact. They became friends. Half of the people, I think it may be 7 of them now, have purchased or are in contract or have invested in my property that I have in Castellamare del Golfo out of the 12 that came. Okay. We like it that way because if you start, for me at least, larger groups, harder to manage, harder to have, that one-on-one connection. We want people to feel valued. We want people to have their questions answered. So it's not a cattle call. It's not a bunch of people kind of lugging the streets, roaming the streets. It's none of that. It's a very intimate group, and we're really there to support you so that whatever decision that you do make, if you're going to invest with us or buying a property independently, that you're well informed and you're given all the resources and support to do so. Okay. Now, as I mentioned at the top of this, some of the things that are good about the trip, or for those who participate as we ramp up and potentially do more of these, is that I'm launching this new experience called La Dolce Villa, where we are creating an online community where we're supporting people throughout the world 24/7 to purchase properties in Italy. I've get tons of inquiries about other locations, so we're going to start bringing real estate agents from different parts of Italy, like Calabria, Tuscany, Milan, etc., so that there is a wider range of properties represented. We're going to be bringing in experts, contractors, and other people that we vetted into this community as well. Now, that community is going to be a paid community with other services included, and that's a $2,000 value. So anybody who joins this trip, we're going to obviously automatically grandfather them into that community. We secure your codice fiscale, which is the tax identification number that you will absolutely need to purchase in Italy. We provide you with one-on-one consultations prior to the trip to make sure that you're prepared and that everything is set up and that we know exactly what you're looking for. If for some reason you book and there's a last-minute change, we'll honor a credit for you on any future trip that we do. We may do another one this year. On the fence about that. Not sure if I really have the time and bandwidth to get 2 in this year. But any future trip that we do, if you weren't able to make it, it's not like a use it or lose it scenario. We will credit you towards that. Also, we are raising the price of our trips. So last year, I think we charged $2,500 for it. This year we charged $3,000. Every trip that I see that is similar to this, a curated experience or a curated tour, starts at $5,000. So I feel that I'm grossly underpriced for what we are delivering, and we will be moving the price of that. So even if you were to lock in now and then didn't make it for some reason, and we do move the price to $5,000 and you use your credit, we're not going to upcharge you at that point. You kind of get grandfathered into that price. Okay. Ultimately, the main reason why I think you should join this trip is if you've been interested in investing in Italy and you kind of are looking for a different experience, a new direction in life. People walk away from this trip with more than knowledge. They leave with a game plan on how to approach it. They leave knowing whether it's for them or not. They leave with friends. They leave with an unforgettable experience. Okay. If you scroll through the comments or you go through the chat, you'll see a link for where you could book directly. Also, if you want to just talk with someone on my team, either Davide or Denise, they are the ones who are responsible for managing all booking activity and questions. You could email me at info@entplife.com. Denise screens that box, and she can coordinate the meetings with herself or Davide to answer any questions or assist you with any of the bookings. And again, they have all the details. They're there to support you. Obviously, this is not my primary business. My primary business is healthcare and tech solutions for that industry. So they're there to support, to ensure that you get the attention that you need, that I cannot necessarily provide every single day. It's not my gig. So ultimately, that's kind of how things are structured and what is available to you. And just to kind of give you an idea of what's happened, like these are, for example, this is Wendy and Chris. They came on the trip. We did Palermo, Casamar del Golfo, and Musomelli. They bought in Musomelli. They recently closed on their property. This is excerpts from the group chat. This is Marco and Walter, 2 brothers came. They also bought. They transacted. So the people that are coming on these trips are serious about taking the next step. And as you can see, Chris is looking for now a way to enter and stay long term. He originally had it in mind that they'll just be spending a couple months, but they're ready to sell and make their life there in Sicily. Why? The people, the experience, all of it was enough to sell them on the idea that maybe this is where they should be living out the rest of their life. Walter and Mark, they came, they fell in love with the place, and they said, this is something that we want our families to experience, our wives, our kids. They went, they bought. So this is just more evidence of what we're doing, helping people get across the finish line, get the deals done with the proper guidance. Again, I'm now open for Q&A. If you are going to book, just follow the link in the chat, or you could email us, schedule a call and talk through things. But just to make sure that I get everybody's questions answered, I'm going to start going through any questions that are coming in on the chat. Okay, Sir Mix. I'm planning on buying in a different part of Italy where the government will pay for my expenses, but I'll need construction workers. Do you have connections, or do you have a team that can help me remodel? So yes and no. So the majority of people that I know aren't necessarily going to travel anywhere in Italy to do work. Right now, my resources are in Sicily. That's why I'm developing the community Dolce Villa, so that I can start getting regional resources together, so that when people like you are looking at other areas, we can still support you, right? I fell in love with Sicily. That's where I own. But because I cover it, I get inquiries from people who are interested in Italy as an entire country, right? So since I've seen that there's this demand for support in other areas that I may not have direct resources, is a reason why I've added people to my team. And we're now focused on building out these sort of resources. So I would just say stay tuned, and we should be able to support you within the next few months. Any other questions? Is anybody else interested in buying in Italy? What parts? I'm kind of curious as to what you guys are working on, or what brings you in. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So again, if you are interested in getting more information or talking to somebody on my team to help you with your bookings, let me know. And if there aren't any other questions, new comment. Oh, awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Just to let you know, everything starts next Friday, July 18th. We're staying there for 8 days, 7 nights, starting the trip in Siracusa, making our way on over to Noto, filled with experiences that you will not forget, all for $3,000. And if you're a couple, if you come as a pair, there's a $500 credit, so it's $5,500 for 2-person groups. And again, that's because the room is shared. So we really want to make sure that everybody who takes the time to fly, halfway around the world to go on these trips has an incredible experience that they will never forget and is worth its weight in gold. Trust me when I say that not one person walked away from that experience last year feeling as if they made a bad decision. Everybody walked away with memories that they will not forget, friends that may last a lifetime, and the majority walked away making an investment in purchasing a property there, whether it's for personal use or to generate money in a short-term rental or a project that I did. Okay, so if we don't have any further questions, stay tuned for the content that's to come out. Really excited about what we have planned. We're going to be just releasing more things more often. Like I said, I took like a slow year just to reorganize my life, move my family. I have a family of 4, 2 girls. It was pretty challenging to get everything organized. So I gave that my full attention. And now that I'm settled again, I'm able to start cranking out more content. Finishing up my project in Brazil, so I'm gonna have some content coming out on that. Obviously, talking about my experiences here in Spain, and obviously continued support and promotion of what's going on in Italy. Until the next one, guys, take care.